Hey YouTube, CJ here, and today I got a really cool, interesting Pendulum Perform Power Odd Eyes deck profile, and I've been working on this deck um, since like last week or so, and honestly, it's really consistent. Not gonna lie, it's really good. Yeah, it has a decent amount of search and draw power, um, and okay, let's get into it. All right, for your first search, I'm going with Perform Pow Yugo Golem. Um, only I haven't used his monster effect yet, but his pendulum effect is when you fusion summon a fusion monster, you get to search out a Perform Pow, Odd Eyes, or Magician monster from your graveyard or face up in your extra deck and add it to your hand. And then his monster effect is during the main phase, if this card was Pendulum Summon, this turn you can fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck using cards you control and a dragon monster. Uh, so yeah, all the fusion material obviously have to be exact, so pretty much a contact fusion. The next search, triple of the Supreme King Dragon. When he's normal, special summon, you search gate 0, and then if he's in the scale, you can put gate 0 in the scale. I mainly use him to search out the gate 0, and if I have like a high skill in my hand, I'll pendulum summon depending on my hand. And since he's a level 4 dark, I can go into Supreme King, Dark Rebellion, Xyz Dragon, so very good. Next, pretty much 3 Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. The only difference is 2 of them is the normal Odd Eyes, and then the other one is the Supreme King. The Supreme King, you get to tribute one Supreme King Dragon monster and destroy this card, and then add one Pendulum monster with 1500 less. Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, the normal one. At the end of the turn, you destroy him, and you add one per Pendulum monster with 1500 or less attack to your hand. So both of them, both their effect is pretty much similar. The only difference is you got to attribute one of your Supreme King monster and him to search. And then this one's in the end phase, you destroy him and search. And their effect is pretty much similar. The normal Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon does double battle damage, and this one, the Supreme King version, all Pendulum monsters does battle damage. So this deck actually can boost your Pendulum monsters pretty high. The highest, I believe, was 6,000, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe a little less. I might be a little exaggerating there. But I played test this deck against my brother's Dark Magician deck, and yeah, this deck is actually consistent. So yeah, pretty much three Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. More of my searches, one Terraforming and one Sky Iris. Yeah, this is really good. With Terraforming, you search out Sky Iris. With Sky Iris, you target one of your face up. With Sky Iris, you target one of your face up card and destroy it. And if you do, you search a Odd Eyes card, to your hand. Since you have the Odd Eyes Pendulum and the Supreme King version, you have like 3 or 4 Odd Eyes. Odd Eyes monsters. So yeah, really good search. Next, for your attack boost monsters that boost your attack, I'm going with one Odd Eyes Unicorn. Never I've used his effect, his monster effect. Maybe when I started Pendulums for my first time, I had, not gonna lie, I built my very first Pendulum in like 2000, I want to say 16, 17. I built my very first Pendulum deck, and that Pendulum deck was a deck of 64, guys. I didn't realize it. I just slapped in a lot of different Pendulum monsters, and after I counted that deck, I'm like, okay, let me take out some. So yeah, ever since that day, I've never really used his monster effect. I mainly use his Pendulum effect since he's a high skill. His Pendulum effect is pretty much when one of your Odd Eyes monster attack opponent monster, you target That odd ice that's attacking in one of your perform pal monster, and your odd ice will gain attack equal to that perform pal monster's attack. So that's why I'm running one unicorn, not only for the high scale but also for the attack boost. Next, I'm running the two Cheermole. Both Pendulum and Monster's effect is really good. I mainly use the Monster effect 99% of the time because it's a monster effect. Target one monster on the field whose attack is different than the original attack, and depending on the attack, it either loses or gain 1,000. So if it has lower than its original, it loses 1,000, and if it has a higher than its original, then it gains 1,000. So I have two Cheermoles. Next up, I'm running two Silver Claw. With Silver Claw, both Pendulum and Monster effect is really, really good. But like I said, I mean, some of these monsters I use their Monster effect more than the Pendulum. Some of them I use the Pendulum more than Monster. But yeah, pretty much his effect the same thing as a Pendulum effect. The only difference is during battle when this card declares an attack, all Pendulum monster gains 300 attack until the end of the battle, and his Pendulum effect, all perform pal monster you control gains 300 attack. So yeah, two Silver Claws. Next up is my perform pal coin dragon. Really, really good, especially his Pendulum effect. His monster effect, all other dragon monsters you control gains 500. So your odd ice Pendulum dragon, 99% of your extra deck gains 500 attack. And then his Pendulum effect is when you can target one dragon monster you control that was special summoned from the extra deck. And when it battles a monster, one of your opponent monster, you banish that monster at the end of the damage calculation, even if this card leaves the field. So yeah, really, really good. Banishing my opponent monster is really good. Next up, two Soul Pendulums. This spell card's actually really good. With this spell card, you can Pendulum summon twice by removing 3 counters. And the way to get counters is each time you Pendulum summon a monster, this card gains a counter. And your Pendulum monster gains 300 attack times the number of counters. So yeah, that's a lot. And then you get to target your 2 Pendulum cards in your zones and either increase or decrease their scale by 1. So another great way to make your scales higher and lower to Pendulum summon higher monsters. But I don't really use those effects unless I have the Supreme King Dark Dragon and Gate 0 in the scales. But other than that, I don't really increase or decrease their scale. I mainly Pendulum summon, boost their attack, and if I need Pendulum summon it again, because I linked it into my Link monster, XCs or whatever, I'll, remove 3 counters and Pendulum summon again. But yeah, double Soul Pendulum. Next up for your fusion spell cards, I'm running the 2 Odd Eyes Fusion, 1 Pendulum Fusion, 1 Dragon's Mirror, and 1 Super Polymerization. Odd Eyes Fusion, yeah, it's pretty much like normal Polymerization, but like for Odd Eyes. Pendulum Fusion, if not only you can use monsters in your hand and field as material, if you have 2 cards in your Pendulum Zone, then you could use those as fusion material. Dragon's Mirror, you just banish the materials to fusion summon a dragon monster. Mainly, that card, I use it for Zark. But yeah. And then Super Poly, it's Super Poly. Just like use your opponent's monster that you have the materials you need to fusion summon. So yeah, just 5 really good fusion spell card. Next for my draw, double Lizard Draw. I was originally going to run 3, but I felt like that's a little too much draw power, and this deck is like a 41, 42 deck. So if I draw like 12 cards like nothing, then I that's a little too much, especially for this deck. Is a little too fast. Yes, this deck wants to draw a lot, but not too much. It wants to bring out strong monsters to increase your attack and just beat over my opponent. So that's why I'm running 2 Lizard Draw. because if he's in the zone with another Perform Palm, destroy him, draw a card. And then if he's on the field face up, and one of your face up card you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you draw cards equal to the number of Perform Palm monsters on the field. So, and it has a decent scale at 6. So yeah. And then another great draw engine, or yeah, draw monster is Perform Palm Smile Sorcerer. He's actually really decent, because if he's in a scale and one of the monster you control is destroyed, that has a higher attack than his original, you special summon him. And his monster effect, if he's normal special summon, you add 1 smile spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. Don't worry, I have one, which I'll explain why I have that smile spell card. And then you get to draw cards equal to the number of monsters whose original attack is higher than its original. Literally, you'll be drawing 4 or 5 cards off of this dude. The only downside is you cannot special summon after activating his effect. So that's not really a downside, because with this deck you're mainly going to special summon all your monsters, boost your attack, then activate his effect to draw more cards. So yeah, really good. 1 Smile Sorcerer. Next, for my last draw card, I guess you want to call it a draw card. This is also to like reset your hand and all. Perform Power Recasting. This spell card is actually pretty good. It's like Magical Mallet and draw card in 1. Because it's not even Pot of Greed. It's like Magical Mallet and Crack. You reveal any number of Perform Power monster in your hand, shuffle that many into the deck, and draw cards equal to the number plus 1. So if you reveal 3, you draw 4. If you reveal 5, you draw 6. So a really good spell card. Also, fun fact, I used this spell card wrong. I used to like reveal 1 or 2, Perform Power, reshuffle my entire hand, draw like 5 plus 1 because of his effect, so I draw 6. That was back in the day when I first started Pendulums, but now, like, now I truly understand what it does. So yeah, still really good spell card. Moving on to like more bigger beaters. 2 Gravity Dragon. It's a really good ritual monster, not gonna lie. It's like really good effects in him. Like it has giant Trune or Giant Trune effect in him, where it returns all spawn trap cards back to the owner's hand. It has what's the other effect? Whenever your opponent activates a card or effect in response to this, it has a Speed Spell 4, that's what I'm reading. A Speed Spell 4, Trune or Giant Trune effect, and then a Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon effect in it. So whenever your opponent tries to activate a card or something, they have to pay 500 life points just to do something. So yeah, and it's 2800. Really good. And it's better if you have both of them out. If Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, yeah, your opponent is going to be taking 1500 per card, which is insane. And then, of course, the ritual spell card to bring it out, the Odd Eyes Advent. Also, you can not only use it like the normal way to ritual summon, but also you got to attribute the Pendulum monsters from your hand field, whose total level is equal to the Odd Eyes Gravity. And like if your opponent has 2 or more monsters and you control no monsters, you can use Odd Eyes monsters from your extra deck and send it to graveyard. So really I don't really get to use that effect, because like I'm mainly going to have somewhat of monsters on the field, or I'm going to open this first turn. So yeah, but the other effect is it's like pretty much normal ritual, but you have to have Pendulum monsters. And the best part is, the really cool part about this, you can use it for any dragon ritual monster. So I can like theoretically throw in Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon, but like I don't want to, because like I only got 2 of this, and plus like it'd be weird. So yeah, 2 Odd Eyes Advent. Next up, Monster Reborn and Smile Universe. Luckily, I took out Return of the Dragon Lord, because like kind of didn't make sense in this deck, and my cat's attacking my arm. And then Smile Universe is a Smile card you're gonna search out with Smile Sorcerer. Monster Reborn's Monster Reborn. No really need to explain. But Smile Universe, however, thanks to Master Rule 5, Pendulum monsters from the extra deck has to be Pendulum Summon in the extra monster zone if you don't have any Link monsters. So, if you do your combos and everything, you still haven't Link Summon and you have this in your hand, and it's your opponent's turn, you can like set this and then like special summon a monster. Yes, your opponent will gain life points because with Smile Universe, you special summon as many monsters, Pendulum monster face up from your extra deck as possible, as many. But their effects are negated, yeah, and your opponent gains life points equal to their original attack. So if you do this cool combos and stuff, like bring out monsters and whatnot, and then if you have like Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon in your graveyard, and you can activate this, yeah, your opponent is going to gain 2,500 life points, but you get free body on the field, and you're gonna have Pendulum Dragon gain like somewhat of attack thanks to Soul Pendulum. So really, really good. That's why I run Smile Universe. Next, for my last three good cards I'm running is Chain Giraffe. It's pretty much Fogblade built in it, because like if it's normal or special summon, you can target one monster your opponent control and have its effect negated, and it cannot attack. So it's pretty much Fogblade or Fiendish Chain without the losing attack point. So that's why I'm running 2. I would run 3, but 2 is good. And then the one Called by the Grave. That's like the only one of I have, since it's limited to 1, which sucks. But yeah, I hope the December 15th ban list bring this back to 2. I really, really hope they do. And I will make a ban list prediction and wish list for a future video. I don't want to do it too late or too early. So yeah, this is one of the card I want in my wish list / prediction at semi-limited at 2 copy. But other than that, yeah, that's the main key cards in this deck. The rest of these 9 cards, I believe, actually some of them are really good. The only cards that also another card you really need in this deck is of course Gate 0 for your Supreme King card. But the rest of these cards are like filler cards, I guess. I still have them because like their effect benefit my deck, but like these other cards you really don't have to run. I just run it because, like I said, it benefit my deck. For example, the Pudding Buddy. Distribute 1 monster in my Pendulum Zone, give it to my opponent. My opponent cannot use it for Fusion, Synchro, or Xyz material. And during the standby phase, the controller takes 300. So, I mean, they couldn't link it away to Link Rebo, but, like, who really runs Link Rebo? Since it needs a level 1 monster. And, yeah, they can't even tribute as well. So, yeah. Mirage, mainly I have it for the scale, but if I summon it in my monster zone, it can like protect my Odd Eyes. Noble Dragon Magician, so I can go into Black Rose Dragon easier. Hollow, another good tuner. Black Rose Dragon, or what's this other synchro monster I have? Memphis Horse or Supreme King Dragon Clearwing. Yeah, those are my only synchro monsters I have. So yeah, 2 tuners to go into those synchro monsters. Draco Slayer, so like if you have him in scale, because he's a decent low scale, and you have a high scale, you can Pendulum Summon and pop him, like, so you can reset your scale. He's here because the scale, and if one of your monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you get a free body off of him. 1 mind control, It's mind control, steal your opponent's monster, use it for a link summon or XCs or whatever, depending on the level. And 1 Supreme Rage. Really good, actually. It destroys a crap ton of cards. If you control a Supreme King Zark, you destroy as many monsters you control as possible, except Supreme King Zark. And if you do, special summon up to 4 Supreme King Dragon monsters with different names from your deck, hand, extra deck, and or graveyard, ignoring their summoning conditions. Banish this card and let's see. Banish this card from your graveyard and target 1 Supreme King Dragon Xyz monster you control. Attach 2 Supreme King Dragon monster as materials from your graveyard or face up from your extra deck. So yeah, a really good trap card to easily bring out all the variants of Supreme King. Except this one, Fusion, which I have it, but sadly is banned for a reason. But yeah, at least you can bring Synchro, Xyz, and Pendulum, which the Synchro one is really good because it has, I believe, a built-in negation in it. And yeah. Alright, for my extra deck, I only got 1 Link monster, and it's Sayuja. I wish I had a lot. I wish I had a lot of better Link monster. I mean, I got IP Masquerena and Topological Bomber Dragon, but like I wish I have a lot better like Boar Sword. But yes, Godred is still a really good card because you draw 4 and you send 3 from your hand to the bottom of your deck. You special summon a monster during main phase, and he points to gains 300. So really, really good Link 4 Link 4 monster to go into with this deck. And you can bring the Skodreg fairly easy with this deck. Trust me, I've done it, and like 2-3 cards I brought him out during the playtest. For my Xyz monster, I wanted to add like my Abyss Dweller, my Castell, but like I have these just in case situation wise. And the first Xyz I have is number 107, Silent Honor Arc. By using 2 overlay unit, I steal one of my opponent's specialist monster, and it becomes an overlay unit. And he can protect himself by using an overlay unit and save him from a destruction or card effect. Tornado Dragon, he's a built-in quick effect mystical space typhoon in him. You detach a material, target spell trap card on field, and destroy it. Time Thief Redoer, the most broken Xyz monster, well, one of the most broken Xyz monster I have. Literally, this is my first time using it, and he's really good. During the standby phases, doesn't matter if it's mine or my opponent, during the standby phase, you can equip the top card of your opponent deck to him as a material, and in quick effect, you get to detach up to 3 different type of cards, and depending on which one you use as a material, you apply the effect. Monster, banish him until the end of turn. Spell, you draw 1 and add a trap card. Target 1 face-up card your opponent control and add it to the top of their deck. So yeah, Time Thief Redoer. Honestly, I gotta say my favorite Xyz monster so far. I don't want to say top, not my number 1, because my number 1 favorite Xyz is still number 107. I would say like number 2 or 3 top Xyz. So yeah, really good. Next, Supreme King Dark Dragon Rebellion. It's actually really good. I've never gotten all his effect done. I've mainly used him to like use an overlay unit during battle, reduce my attacking target to 0, and then he gains the attack. The rest of the effect is during the battle phase, quick effect, you could return this card to the extra deck, special summon up to 2 face-up Supreme King Dragon and or Supreme King Gate Pendulum monsters from your extra deck to defense. So yeah, I always get all the Supreme King extra deck monsters confused. The Synchro one, you tribute to Supreme King and then special summon him from the graveyard. So yeah, this one is really good. I think this version is better than the normal version. And then you have the rank 5s that are like broken AF, but still really good. Rebellion. Next for my rank 7s, Mecha Phantom Beast Dracosack and Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. Dracosack gains tokens and he's immune with the tokens, and then you destroy cards, and then Flare Metal, you burn your opponent. Like, that's the best explanation I can have. Burn your opponent. So yeah, and Red Eyes is immune while having overlay units, in which you most likely would never use overlay units because there's 0 Red Eyes other than the XEs. But moving on, Synchros, Memphis, really good level 6. So pretty much if you use a normal monster, this card is unaffected by card effects. Effect monster, you target one monster or one face-up monster and has its effects negated. And a pendulum, you choose one monster. Wait. I'm lost. Hold on. Pendulum monster, your opponent chooses one monster they control and gave control of it to you, but it cannot attack this turn. So yeah, it's a really good monster. You most likely activate its pendulum effect most of the time. Black Rose with Noble Dragon, you can easily go into him. You reduce Odd Eyes Pendulum to level 4. Use Noble Dragon as a level 3 and 4. You get 7 to Black Rose. Honestly, a really good Synchro monster in my opinion, and the most beautiful looking Synchro Dragon. I mean, look at that. That's beautiful. I believe this is Ghost Rare, I'm not mistaken. If it is Ghost Rare, I would love to have it. And then finally for my Synchro, Supreme King Dragon, Clearwing Dragon. If this card is Synchro Summon, destroy all face-up monster your opponent controls. During the damage calculation of this card, battles an opponent monster, destroy that, and inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. Oh, so it doesn't negate. Well, yeah, I got their effects confused. But yeah, still really good. Burning your opponent life points. So yeah. And lastly, the fusion monsters. Double Vortex for negation. That's pretty much why I have him. And a big defender as 3000. My super poly targets, Predaplant and Starving Venom. I almost said a Supreme King version. But yeah, really good super poly targets. He floats into destruction. Well, he doesn't float. He has a graveyard effect where he destroys all special summon monster. Negates monster effect. And finally, Zark to blow up my opponent's field. That's why I mainly use him effect. So yeah, really good fusion monsters. Alright guys, that's my Pendulum deck. I would love to continue adding more into this deck, but this is what I got so far. And like I said, I play test this deck against my brother's Dark Magician deck, and it's really good. The only downside is if you don't draw the correct cards, then you might lose and you don't have a high chance of winning. So yeah, this deck's pretty much bringing out big beaters to run over my opponent. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this deck. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.